For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of USC's Wednesday practice, their third practice leading up to the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. It was a shorter practice than what we're used to, but that's because the team is having their team end of the year banquet tonight, an awards ceremony. So we'll figure out the awards later. They'll announce them, but a shorter practice than what we're used to.
Yeah, when they hit the three horns, it was like I think literally everybody in the media was, whoa, what? It was 440, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was great. I thought they got a lot done. They're really, I think Clay made a very good point about how Dallas is going to be here in a blink of an eye, and we don't have time to screw around. And you've got to have, you got to be, not only do you have to, do the general preparation because you're playing in Ohio State, you got to have a focus so that you're not wasting any time out there. I think they're getting a lot done.
Yeah, it seems like they have their game plan already in motion. Like you said, Helton said that it is going to be vital. If you actually look at their schedule, 3 weeks seems like a long time, but there's not a lot of time to really get things done into practice where you're comfortable and on your own home turf. They're going to be going to Texas before Christmas, so there's a lot of things that they have to juggle. So it's smart that they're getting this settled right away.
And another thing they've gotten settled, and we talked to a number of the upperclassmen about this. They're not coming into the AT&T Stadium the way they did last time. That's part of the, that's gone down the memory hole, and that's never to be resurrected. And it's really interesting when you talk to them, they just start shaking their head. No, that's not who we are. That's not how we do things. But when you talk to them about going back to AT&T Stadium, you say, but you're not going to go back exactly like you did last time, are you? The way, and they all go, no, we're not doing that anymore. That's not who we are. We've changed. We've learned our lesson. Clay was reminded us about that. The Alabama game reminded them about all that. Trying to, we're not playing on hype. We're not playing on emotion. We're playing on execution and focus and all and discipline and all of that. But we're not trying to act like we're whatever they were trying to act like they were, we still can't figure that out.
Yeah, if you remember, they coming into the stadium, the field actually, they crawled, and it was a weird thing. I don't know. You can look it up on Twitter. It's on there. I tweeted it out.
It looked like, and I'm not a theater critic here, but it looked like a really bad audition for, say, Cats. Something like that. I mean, I don't know what they were, really. It was like, what is that? Who are they?
Yeah, but you and I were talking before we started this. It's an interesting symbol of what this team has become, what Clay Helton has made this team under his leadership. Because that entrance, that hype was something we saw with coaches prior. This is a team that's going to get it done on fundamentals and not on the pomp and circumstance.
They certainly learned their lesson. I mean, that was as difficult as that game was. They learned their lesson, and it's not about any of that. It's not about any of that, coming into the stadium and, pointing at, oh, look at who we are and what have you. I mean, again, you're playing an Ohio State team. As Clay can, rattle off. Clay's got all the stats. 127 years of football for them, 125 for USC. 19 national championships, 11 of those USC, 14 Heisman Trophy winners, so we're talking 7 USC, so Clay's counting Reggie Bush's, so that's, and just, all the things that I don't even think he has to make that point about Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's Ohio State. They're one of those, elite programs with USC, and, it's not about one hyping up. That's what was so out of place. You don't do that when you're going on the field to play Alabama.
Yeah.
They're Alabama. There's nothing you can do to act like we're going to hype ourselves. No, you go out and you play the game and see what happens. And I think they learned that's what it's about. It's not about all this silly stuff.
Yeah. Of course, it's Wednesday, which means we get to talk to the defensive players. What have they had to say? What's their scouting report about Ohio State on offense?
Well, I mean, the whole story is that they have 3 running backs, 2 tailbacks that alternate, Mike Weber and J.K. Dobbins. And then they get a quarterback, J.T. Barrett, who is their second leading rusher and rushes for 700 yards. And then he also throws the ball down the field, which makes it so difficult to defend them because you have to stop the run. They spread you out. And if you do come up and bring extra people into the box, they throw the ball deep. And they've got 3 receivers that are averaging 15 yards or more per catch. I think some of that is they are so much more athletic than the average defense that they face in the Big Ten. I mean, USC's used to playing people that can throw the ball down the field. Yeah. So that's an advantage, I think, for USC in this game. USC's played against quarterbacks. Khalil Tate of Arizona, mostly a good result. I mean, a great, run quarterback who can throw the ball down the field. Not such a good result against Brandon Wimbush at Notre Dame. But USC, this will not be a first for USC. I think for Ohio State, USC might be a little bit different from the teams they've been playing. Mm-hmm. That's usually been, I think, the advantage for the Pac-12 team in the Rose Bowl against the Big Ten champs is the Big Ten probably has to adjust a little bit more to USC than USC has to adjust to the Big Ten. That's what they think. They think they've played teams that help get them ready for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. We got a little bit of an injury update, not so much. Helton said there wasn't a big update, but we did see some guys return. We saw Andrew Voorhees. He returned to the O-line. We also saw Tyler Vaughns get some work in. So Helton said his shoulder injury wasn't too bad. But Keely Eure went to the trainer's table at the very beginning of practice. He left with ice on his right knee. So that's something that's interesting to watch out for. He didn't look too gimpy, but just something to watch out for. So also Porter Gustin got his boot off his foot. So the first time we've actually seen that foot in a very long time. But so a slight update as far as injuries go.
Yeah, he was wearing what the Brits call trainers. That's the regular flat, more of the flat bottom, shoes. And then I'm trying to think. And we didn't get a report on Keely actually. But and Andrew, clearly, when you say there's no new news, but Andrew wasn't allowed to do anything yesterday on concussion protocol. Today he was. Yeah. So there is some new news. Velus Jones was out of pads. He was out there, but obviously a little gimpy. And Randall Grimes was out of pads again today, and Jack Jones also. So we're not, we're not seeing everybody, but I still think they're probably the healthiest they've been in a long time.
Yeah, and there's also time for them to regroup.
I think seeing Porter today makes you think,
Yeah.
I mean, Clay's definitely not going there. He's not saying, but today made you think, well, he's out of his boot. Maybe. He's walking normally. He still hasn't run on it. Still hasn't put any pressure on it and all that. I would say it's a long shot, but I wouldn't have even said that necessarily yesterday. Yeah. But.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, it seemed like Helton was a little bit more optimistic today than he was yesterday, which is interesting. And given how they've used Porter and how he's just shown up at times, there could be a possibility. Not saying there is, but there is a slight possibility.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing going against you is twice he's come back too soon.
Yeah.
And so if I'm the doctor, if I'm any one of the doctors that said, oh, yeah, you can come back, in the previous two times, I'm really hesitant to be able to be the guy that says, yeah, I think he could come back. So I think if he does come back, you would guess that he's really ready to come back.
Yeah, who knows? But as far as the schedule goes, today was a normal week, so they'll have a light walkthrough practice tomorrow, but they will be back on Monday next week, Tuesday, and then a Wednesday practice. So a little bit of a shakeup, but nothing too out of the norm for next week.
Right. Actually, I think they're letting them go on Wednesday. I think they're giving them an extra day. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Trying to think how they're going to do that, because then they're going to be in Dallas. I guess they get three. They leave on the 23rd, so I think they're giving them off the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and I think the 23rd they go to Dallas, and they have a kind of a welcoming there, and then their first practice is the 24th.
Yeah. Okay. So a nice little Christmas Eve practice in Dallas. But so that's going to wrap it up for this week of USC's bowl practices. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.